Hi everybody, I hope you are okay, and I hope you will watch this analysis in full and not judge the book by its cover. I appreciate Orta, but I need to explain why it was not the game I expected after Saga. Please take a while and listen. Panzer Dragoon Orta is a game released on the original Xbox in December 2002 in Japan and in early 2003 in the West. The game was published by Saga and developed by Smilebit, a division of Sega. Akihiko Mukayama was approached to direct the game. He had previously worked on Panzer Dragoon Saga as the battle planner. He initially refused to direct the project, but then was told that if he didn't do the project, the new game was finished, meaning Orta would not happen and the series would not survive. He didn't want to have that responsibility and he changed his mind. The game is a rail shooter and is often referred as the peak of this genre in terms of gameplay. You already saw the title of this video and probably wonder why I feel that way about Orta. Well, we are going to discuss what makes Orta a great game first, and then in a second part discuss my thoughts about why Orta was not the game I expected after Saga. It may also contain some spoilers, so it's better to discuss this later in the video. But don't worry, I will warn you when we get to this part. The story follows Orta, a teenage girl who is saved from a prison by a dragon. She is immediately forced to defend herself from the Empire who attacks her and the dragon. Just like the two games before Saga, Orta plays as an on-rail game. You control the position of your dragon on screen, and the lock-on lasers and pistol are both back. You must destroy enemies before they vanish off screen while levels scroll before your eyes. Bosses are an exception as they won't vanish until you defeat them. You still have a radar displaying enemies and you can rotate the camera 90 degrees. However, the formula has been improved. You can now briefly slow down or speed up. The dragon can morph instantly between three forms: the base wing, which is the standard class with no weaknesses or strengths, the heavy wing, which is the offensive class with less mobility, or the glide wing, which is the nimble class good for shooting down masses or incoming projectiles. In addition to your life gauge, you will have a glide gauge and it will be used differently for each form of dragon. The glide wing can speed up or slow down up to 3 times with a full gauge, while heavy wing cannot do it at all. A berserker gauge is also back as it first appeared in Spy. When using it, it grants the dragon invincibility for a short amount of time. When in glide wing form, the attacks also steal life from the on-screen enemies to refill the dragon's own life gauge. You will have to find weak points. Many of those changes are inspired from Saga's gameplay. When finishing each episode, you will be ranked based on your performance. The soundtrack was composed mainly by Saori Kobayashi, who had worked on Saga, and also Yutaka Minobe, who composed Skies of Arcadia's soundtrack. Ayato Matsuo and Eri Ito are also back. Panzer Dragoon Orta was very well received by critics and is often referred to as one of the best shooting experiences ever made. The game plays great and is very well polished. The game was also made backward compatible on Xbox 360 in April 2007. It was made backward compatible on Xbox One and Xbox One X in April 2018. At the same time, a patch was also rolled for the 360 version as the PAL version would consistently crash after the third episode. The game now runs at a resolution close to 4K on Xbox One X and is superb. So why was Orta not the game I expected after Saga? Let's talk about the heart here. First of all, about the dragon design and some enemy designs. I will say it straight, I was not a fan of the dragon design in Orta. Maybe you don't know, but this dragon design was outsourced. It was not designed by Sega's employees in-house. Personally, if I had been in charge of selecting a design, I would have dismissed this one and asked for more proposals. I really don't like this green skin and those were horns that makes it look like an insect of some sort. Yes, the dragon had horns in the previous games, but that didn't make it look like an insect. Look at those various forms. I don't think it looks as majestic as in the other games. Also, there are too many shots of the dragon's head with teeth. Why does the dragon look like a reptile or dinosaur? Was it inspired by Jurassic Park? I would have preferred more nice shots of the dragon with wings spread in cutscenes to make the creature look more majestic. They also added some claws on wings. The teeth, the claws, the weird horns, the pierced wings is all part of this new design that went too far for me and felt disjointed from the previous trilogy. I'm not saying this was an easy exercise, it never is. But it is the feeling I got when seeing those dragon designs. As a reminder, we went from this to this to this to finally this. Let's talk about enemies, starting with dragon mares. For me it was an attempt to look more radical, more extreme, but it doesn't fit the world that was previously pictured. Dragon mares make me think of a mix between aliens and dragons. It doesn't really feel consistent with what Moebius started with its original artwork. Some environment designs look more gothic and almost have a Bayonetta touch to them, rather than Panzer Dragoon. This can be partially explained by the lore having changed and the new empire having been influenced by a neighboring island state, but still, it doesn't explain the dragon and dragon mare's design. What about NPC designs and voices? In Panzer Dragoon Saga, all voices feel rich, convincing. Well, this is not the feeling I got here, especially about two NPCs, Mobo and Elder Ponta. Their voices are annoying coming from Azel. Listen.
Hussa! Ahoy! Mr. Rubio.
What about the music? I'm a huge fan of Sari Kobayashi's work and I think she's an amazing artist. She did a fantastic job on Orta, but Azel remained superior in my opinion. I like most of her compositions in Orta, but one thing that immediately struck me was the sound that was way more electronic and industrial, not as organic as in the previous game. I can see she matched the new design choices, so nothing to blame her for. This is just how I felt about the game, about the vibes of the game. Here, for example, I can recognize the typical sound of Panzer Dragoon. Lastly, regarding the story, and that's where we will have some spoilers, although I assume you already know Orta's story if you are with us, but hey, if you don't, that's probably where you want to stop watching. So here we go. You play Orta, the daughter of Azel and most likely Eiji. I'm not going to argue about whether Orta's genetical father is Eiji or Crayman, I don't really care. It's just this odd choice of making a human being from a drone and a human. It doesn't really make sense. Also, one of the reasons Orta was not the game I expected after Saga is that it crushed any hopes that we Azel fans had to have an explanation after Saga's ending or Eiji and Azel's fate after the game. Futatsugi, who was not involved in the making of Orta, said that the story depicted in the game was an interpretation of the events after Saga. All those story elements lead me to consider Orta as a non-canon game, as an alternative timeline. All in all, Panzer Dragoon Orta is a fantastic game, with a very refined gameplay. It runs very smoothly even after all those years, and now I can better appreciate what it achieved as a game on its own. And at the same time, I can finally leave this burden from my chest when I was not able to put words on why Orta was not the game I expected after Saga. Now I have taken the time to express my reasons. I know there are also other fans feeling that way and others considering Orta as their favorite game in the series. It is perfectly fine, there is no right or wrong preference, it is just personal tastes here. Now, I hope my detailed explanation makes sense, that you better understand why I feel that way towards Orta, that I can appreciate the game and still being critical of some of those choices made. Do not hesitate to comment below, share this video and so that we can discuss this together. Stay safe and talk to you soon.